Heroes, unite! First, I want to say sorry for not making any videos in a while. But like I mentioned in previous videos, kind of hard to make videos when you can't think of any ideas. Though for me, it's, kind of that, and the fact that when I do think of ideas, they run rampant, and I'm like, ah! But, well, first I guess I should start by saying this is actually a Heroes Unite video. So today, I salute all heroes involved in the 9/11 incident, which any one of you out there who knows someone who got hurt or is that person that got hurt during the whole incident, all I have to say is I'm sorry that happened, and if there is/was anything I could do to help, believe me, I would. But honestly, I didn't even learn it till just to learn what the whole concept of it was until just a few years ago when I was still in high school. I can't even remember what grade at the moment, but I do know this much. All that I knew about it prior to then was that it was a pretty important day. I mean, at the time it happened, I was 5 years old. I did have some family members who were and still are living in New York City, but at the time that it occurred, I do believe they had gone to visit some other family members that I had in Texas or something. Can't really remember, but I know they weren't in New York at the time. Despite living very close to the towers, I do believe. Though I can't even remember. I mean, sure, I can remember back to before I was born. Great for scientific research, not so much for random conversations like this, but the point still remains. All I can remember is that I had family members, lived in New York, and weren't there at the time. Exactly where in New York and why they weren't there, I cannot remember. But I do know this much. Ever since learning about the 9/11 incident, I've been trying to figure out why the terrorists even did that. And, well, one thing that I've noticed, 9/11, 911. 911 is what you call for emergencies. 9/11, hugest emergency in the history of, ever, as far as I know. I mean, if you're counting out the whole flooding that happened in Bible times and the fact that, all that whole let my people go thing that happened in Egypt. But I guess you could say this comes very close to that. But still, I do feel sorry for anyone who lost a family member or friend or essentially loved one due to that incident. I'm really sorry, but that's one of the few things I cannot relate to. And that's saying something, since I actually can relate to almost anything. You give me a single sentence, chances are I'll find some way to be able to relate to it. But so far, 9/11 is the only thing I can't relate to. Other than maybe being able to figure out how it happened. Though I do have one thing to say about terrorists, and this applies to villains too. And no offense, I'm not trying to be mean, this is just my opinion. I think villains, and more importantly terrorists, are a bit stupid. Now, that's not to say that no other being is stupid. I mean, I'm stupid too. I mean, when I first started wearing my glasses, I remember there were several times that I went to pick up my glasses and I'm like, wait a minute, where are my glasses? And then I do this. I don't know if you can tell, but I was cross-eyed. And I'm like, I have my glasses on my face. What is wrong with me? And then there were other times where I went to take my glasses off and they weren't even on. But one reason why I say terrorists are stupid is because if they were smart, they wouldn't even be terrorists. I mean, first and foremost, if a terrorist was smart, they would know they can never win. They may destroy one hero, but there is thousands, if not trillions more, to take their place. it's pretty much like the cells on your hand. Sure, you may get a paper cut on your hand, thereby destroying 10,000 cells, but you still have over 6 trillion more still on your hand that are perfectly good. And not just skin cells, blood cells, muscle cells, bone cells, nail cells, hair cells, for Pete's sake. I mean, the list just goes on, and that's just that's just part of the amount of cells I know we have. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, sure, they may destroy us. Sure, we may lose our loved ones. But if there's one thing that will not happen, well, at least not for a really long time, is they won't destroy all humans. I mean, there's always going to be at least one human in existence at any given time who's on the side of good. At least one. And as far as I'm concerned, and it doesn't even matter if it's a human or not, as long as there's at least one being in existence who's on the side of good, good will never lose. That's one reason why I say terrorists are stupid. Another is because by watching, I don't know if you've heard this YouTube channel, while I do find it interesting, some of the facts, I don't condone the use of the phrasing and wording they use. Mainly because in most of their videos, I will say this. They have so many cuss words. If you try to make a movie out of a YouTube video, it would make R-rated movies seem, well, like they should be rated TVY or less. And I know TVY is for an actual TV show, not a movie. And for the love of heroes, seriously, dear God, please get my jaw to stop popping. Now, seriously, guys, I really don't know if any of you guys had this problem. But if there's one thing that's annoying, it's you talking and then your jaw going click, 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 click. Or your jaw popping out of socket in any way, form, or fashion. But it's even more annoying when you're talking. And for YouTube makers, even more so when it's during a doggone YouTube video. I mean, seriously, people, come on. But anyways, back to what I was saying. In the video, it was mentioning some of the dumbest terrorists. Like, there was one who turned himself in for the reward money. I mean, come on, people. I know when you're evil, that usually, if not always, means that you're greedy. But seriously, you turned yourself in for the reward money. Terrorists or not, that's stupid. And another reason why I say terrorists are stupid, one of the best examples of a stupid terrorist, aside from that, would probably be, if you've seen G.I. Joe, at least the first version, like the one that came out at the same time as Transformers Generation 1, back in about 1980 or so, kind of like as one of the first cartoons. Cobra Commander really was stupid. And then again, I guess that's what you get when you get a snake and combine it with a human. Still trying to figure out his origin story. But anyways, when I saw that, I'm thinking, you turned yourself in for the reward money. Okay. First, if someone's going to turn someone else in for reward money, it makes more sense for the person who's doing the turning in, or the person who's being turned in, and the person who's getting the reward money to be two different people. I mean, if you turn yourself in for the reward money, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, one, you're going to be in jail. Unless, of course, you've done something really bad like a terrorist, chances are you're going to be, well, killed most likely. And therefore, two, what are you going to, aside from the fact that you're going to be detained, how are you going to get the money if, one, you're detained, if not killed on the spot, and two, even if you do get the money, what the hell are you going to use it for? Blow something else up or do something else evil, which then requires you to become that much more of a pain for the world? I mean, seriously, that's contradictory. You do something bad. You turn yourself in for the reward money. Get reward money. Do something worse. Turn yourself in for the reward money. And then it's just a never-ending cycle of what the stupid. I mean, come on, people. If you wanted money that badly, do something like a normal criminal would. Like, oh, I don't know, rob a bank! I mean, I'm not condoning that you should rob a bank. I'm just trying to make a point. I mean, seriously. If you want to get money for doing an evil action, don't become a terrorist and then turn yourself in. I mean, seriously, come on. Then again, I guess it still doesn't beat the fact that for the last few years or so, I've been hearing these crazy news reports about people stealing stupid stuff. Like one person, somewhere on the other side of the world, I think, somehow smuggled cheese into Russia. Another person stole the corks off beer containers. I mean, sure, I'll admit I don't drink beer, but out of all the things you could have stolen, why'd you steal the doggone corks? I mean, seriously, if you're going to steal something from a beer factory, wouldn't it make more sense to, I don't know, steal the actual beer? I mean, what use is stealing corks going to be? I mean, it's not like you can do much with corks aside from maybe plugging up bottles. I think under certain circumstances they can become explosives, but really, if you can figure out how to, I do believe anything and everything can be a form of explosive. Not saying that you should go and try to explode everything. I mean, that would just be stupid. I'm just saying that aside from maybe building supplies, plugging up bottles, and I think being highly combustible, corks have no use. I mean, seriously, a sponge has more use than a cork. And on top of that, I actually think a sponge is cheaper. And then again, I don't even know the price of a sponge or cork, but still, a sponge has more use than a cork. And you steal the cork instead of the bottles. But I think the one that really freaks me out with stealing stuff is that about a year or two ago, I heard there was a football player who robbed a store to get underwear, socks, and deodorant. I mean, seriously, football player, someone who makes millions, if not trillions of dollars a year, steal some of the most inexpensive things? I mean, seriously, that's pretty much the same thing as a teacher going to a Walmart or something and stealing paper, or a lumberjack stealing wood. Who does that? I mean, seriously, when I read that, I'm like, I know I don't like football, and I know I'm not interested in it, but what the huh? I mean, come on, people. If you're going to steal something, at least, I don't know, steal something that makes sense? I mean, sure, I'll admit, I'm never going to steal anything in my life. Never have, never will. But if I was going to steal anything, I would not steal something stupid like socks, underwear, and deodorant. I mean, I may be a hero, but if there's one thing that I've learned from watching TV shows rather, comic books, and playing video games, a good villain steals something that is useful. I mean, come on! If you're going to steal something, don't make it something that you can buy at virtually any and every single store in the world. With maybe the exception of just 5% of the stores, but still. If you're going to steal something valuable, like maybe a priceless jewel or some ancient artifact. I mean, sheesh, at least think about what you're doing. I mean, sure, you should never be evil in the first place, but seriously, you're not even trying. And then another terrorist did something even more stupid. This one, of course, was a female terrorist. She was trying to blow up some city, and had bombs rigged up to her phone. And I don't mean actual cords, I mean she pressed a button on her phone and the phone becomes the detonator. And it was going to happen on New Year's Eve, and it was all fine and dandy until her phone company sent her a text message saying Happy New Year's, and then she blew up. I mean, come on! First of all, I don't even see how that even is possible. Though, if anything is possible, I guess it is possible, but that doesn't mean I see how. And second of all, if you're going to... This just further proves my theory. If you're going to set up a bomb to go off, don't make it to where it'll go off. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Sorry if that gets in the video, but the thing kind of froze up on
me a second. Like, actually, this what I'd look like in the photograph for about a minute. Or maybe 30 seconds, I'm not really sure. I wasn't really keeping track, but still. Another time was first of all, when I found this out, I knew about did that anime fall back in the chair where your feet go up in the air thing. And if you've seen Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z Kai, or virtually any other anime, I guess, not really, or anime, I don't know why I said anime. Actually, I'm not even sure if that's what I said or not, but anyways, I guess that happens with other animes, or other anime, I'm not really sure what the plural term is, but the point, and before you start saying, how can you call yourself an anime fan if you don't know what the plural form of it is? Well, about the only anime I like, or mainly watch, is Pokemon. I like anime because, well, because the kind of animation actually is actually more, well, I don't even know what the word is, but it's easier for you to tell what the character's emotion is. The only thing I hate about it is most of them tend to be inappropriate in one way or the other. If you have seen them, then you know what I'm talking about, into specific details, because the whole younger generation that possibly watch this stuff, but if you want to know specific details, comment me in the comment section. Better yet, email me or something, then I'll email you, or do something to where I can basically have a private conversation with you so I don't have to make it awkward on everyone else. Of course, I would not ask for your age or anything like that. I'm just saying it would be better if you do that, so that way if someone does a video by accident and then end up being, why did I watch the video? I didn't even want to know. Plus, since I know there are boys out there, I can just imagine someone saying, hey, I dare you to watch this video whether you want to or not, and threaten to, oh, I don't know, hit them in the face or give them a wedgie or put an embarrassing photo online or at school or something. Well, if they don't make said videos, how can they force them to watch said videos? But anyways, that terrorist was in a terrorist teaching school that I didn't even know existed. But yeah, like I said, I almost did that. Anime flipped back in the chair with feet up in the air. I've seen that happen a few times on Pokemon, and I think one or two times on Dragon Ball Z Kai. I can't really remember. So long ago, don't really remember much about that, other than, of course, Goku, Gohan, Krillin, Bulma, Vegeta, Frieza, and Cell. Aside from that, I don't really remember much else from the show. And then again, at the times that it was coming on, I wasn't always able to watch because either A, sleepy, I was sleepy, B, it happened while I was eating supper, or C, just something else interfered with me. Like maybe I need to go to the bathroom, lights went out, who knows. But anyways, I was like, they have schools that teach how to be a terrorist. I mean, come on.
if they have schools to teach how to be a terrorist, why? I have these questions. One, why have they not figured out the secret to interdimensional travel? Two, why don't they have, I don't know, schools for anti-terrorist groups, kind of like, I don't know, G.I. Joe or something? And even if they do, why aren't they doing a better job? I mean, come on. And three, why haven't they, I don't know, found a place and destroyed it? Or at the very least blocked it off so no one could get in. But that's not the weird part. The weird part is the teacher was teaching the kids how to, I think it was either build a bomb or defuse a bomb. But either way, the bomb blew up, killing everyone in the entire school, and I'm like, okay. One, that's good in the manner of less terrorists to attack humanity, but bad in the fact of, which I know some people are probably going to say, how in the world is killing a terrorist bad? Well, it's bad when you can't get them over to the side of good to become an anti-terrorist, thereby helping you defeat other terrorists. Besides, more members you get on the side of good, less members there are on the side of evil. And being a Christian as I am, I want to help save and protect all life, even those that most people think should not be saved or protected. Sure, most people would probably just want to kill them on the spot, but speaking of this is also why I like arthropods. Arthropods are the same way. Most people, they see something like a spider or a wasp or something, they're going to be like, die! Or, of course, they're going to run away and they're about going to the bathroom in their pants, but still, most people's response when they see an arthropod, unless it's a ladybug or a butterfly or something, is squish the thing. And I've even met some people who wanted to squish a butterfly. I mean, come on, people. What's a butterfly ever done to anyone? I mean, sure, they may not be that all, not mean this in an appropriate way. If you want to know exactly what I mean, just look up the word, because despite what most people think, this doesn't always mean isn't always to be meant in the romantic sense. But they aren't exactly the most attractive of beings, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be treated kindly either. Or doesn't mean they shouldn't be treated, well, okay, I can't get my words out. But basically, just because they don't look like they should be treated nicely doesn't mean that they shouldn't be. They all should be treated equally. And by me being similar to the arthropods and the fact that I'll admit I'm not exactly what most people would consider attractive in any sense, romantic or otherwise. But that doesn't mean that you should be, I don't know, trying to give me a black eye every 2 seconds. I mean, if there's one lesson I've learned from my entire life, it's don't judge a book by its cover. Plus, because insects are so small and tiny, and they're pretty much the bottom of the food chain. The only things being below that are single-celled organisms. So, I think instead of killing the arthropods that we see, we should try to relocate them. Otherwise, we are essentially terrorists to them. I mean, unless, of course, we eat them, but, no offense to the people who do eat them. I mean, not trying to be mean, it's just, excuse my phrasing, not my cup of tea. Honestly, if an arthropod went in my mouth, trust me, I would spit it out long before I inhaled. Okay. Sorry if this is a bit glitchy. I really have no idea what's going on.
Um, well, I guess all that's left are just these two things. One, that foamy Germix that I've been using, well, we can't find it at the stores that I'm at
that are near me anymore. But I have no idea if it's because the stores have just stopped selling it, and there was a recall. I have no clue whatsoever. So if any of y'all know what's going on, please let me know in the comment section below, or at the very least, email me. And if you need to know my email address, I'll be more than happy to give it to you in the comment section below. Considering there isn't that much personal information that you could take, I mean, seriously, what are you gonna take? Kid likes Pokemon. Kid likes arthropods. Kid's into science. Kid's a hero. Christian likes God. Plays Minecraft. Seriously, that's pretty much all my personal information right there. With, of course, the exception of I like the colors green and blue and treat everyone equally. I mean, I guess there might be some more personal information on the computer, but really, I have no idea if there is or not, let alone what said information would be. So therefore, how would I even know if you've stolen my personal information? Of course, I'm not saying that you should go into the computer and try to steal it. We have tons of security systems. But still. But there are two other things. One of which doesn't even have anything to do with terrorists. I'm just saying this in this video because why would I make another video when I can say it here? Anyways, there's this new 3DS system that I'm wanting. It's actually, well, I know there are, if you play 3DS or play Nintendo systems, or at the very least heard of them, you know there's, for the 3DS, there's Nintendo 3DS, a 3DS XL, and a new 3DS XL, and it has the C-Stick. Well, I'm wanting one called New Nintendo 3DS XL, though the website I'm looking at just calls it LL, and it's Pikachu Yellow. Right now, it's only accessible in Japan, from what it looks like, but there's also one other thing. If you want to know the exact one, just go to Serbia.net/games/consoles.shtml, or you can simply just go to Serbia.net, and if you play Pokemon, you'll know, but if not, it's spelled SEREBII.net. But anyways, you go there, on the left-hand side, you'll see section saying Serbia, pretty much the website, anime, video games, manga, so on and so forth. You go to video games, go down to almost the very last thing, and it will say something under another section called miscellaneous. And they categorize them by generation number, like generation 1, 2, 3, 4, stuff like that. Roman numerals. But you get down to the bottom, and it'll say Special Edition Consoles. And I am wanting that, but because it's available in Japan, I'm waiting until it becomes available in the US. So if any of you have any ideas on when it'll be available, or if y'all ever happen to find out that it's available, please contact me immediately so I'll know. Or you can at least link me to a website that has the USA version. But of course, before you link, please make sure that either A, you tell me if you have found out specifically if it is US, or if not, just simply say you can try this. Or put simply, if you're going to tell me it's US, make sure you do research to double check. Because with my other system, I got a Pikachu version of the 3DS XL, the one without the C-Stick. I got some scratches on the screen, and before you start saying, oh, you don't have to worry about that, that's okay. Well, it would be if I knew how the scratch even got on there. I mean, it was during the whole Mew code card incident. I was trying to get the code cards entered, I was giving it to my mom for a little bit, who I'm trying to get into Pokemon, which quite useful when I happen to need Pokemon from version exclusive games, but I don't want to replay the entire game, and I don't know of anyone who has the other game and a way to connect with me. Plus, even if I do, there's no chance that there can be a very small chance that I'll actually find someone who's willing to trade. But anyways, I was giving it to her so she could, well, type the code in. Well, some of the codes didn't exactly work. I mean, we typed it in every which way and it kept saying, sorry, not a valid code. Sorry, not a valid code. And then I actually had my grandfather try to help because I was thinking, maybe we're just reading this wrong. Well, get it back and there's this big scratch on the screen. And before you start saying maybe he caused the scratch, well, obviously that's what I'm thinking, but how? That's what I want to know. Because the styles he was using, first of all, didn't have a section of plastic that could have scratched it. Second of all, I asked him was he putting pressure. He said no, but he has a tendency of putting pressure without realizing. Like when I was younger, he used to pat me on the back saying he was giving me a love pat, and several times he'd come to wake me up that way. I'd be sitting on the edge of the bed. Next thing I know, I've flown across the floor. Or not really flown because of the wings, but you get the point. He pretty much hit me so hard I went falling on the floor. And he's like, what's going on? Why are you on the floor? And I had to explain to him, he near about smacked my back out of whack. And yes, I know that was pretty much a rhyme, but the point still remains. He was trying to give me a love pat, and it felt more like he was trying to smack my back. So, he could have caused it by accident, but either way, what makes no sense is that where it was not anywhere close to where he was putting the styles. And I asked him if maybe he scratched his fingernail against it. He said no. And because I wasn't in there and no one else was looking at this thing when it happened, I've got no clue whatsoever what's even going on there. All I do know is we called the Nintendo company to see if they could fix it. I mean, sure, we found out how much we'd need to pay if they did, and we found that out on the previous 3DS system I had before I had it upgraded, but there was one tiny little problem. Because it wasn't in America, we had no idea if the warranty was out of date or not. Nor did we have any idea what the warranty was. I mean, we know it was 3 months after purchase, but because it was apparently one from Saudi Arabia, none of us have any idea if it's still under warranty or not. And thereby, the Nintendo company couldn't help. Well, the one where I live anyways. And they said that if we wanted it, we'd, have to send it overseas to a corresponding video game company. And then we'd have to wait till it got there. That would take about a month or two. And then again, I'm not sure if they would send it by boat or plane. But then we'd have to wait until they could contact us, tell us if it was under warranty. And then after that, we'd have to figure out if it wasn't, how much would we have to pay, find a way to get the money over there. If it was, they could just go ahead and fix it and send it back. But either way you go, at minimum, it would take probably at least half a year. And to all avid video gamers out there, if there's one thing that I know or have a very high opinion about video gamers, it's this. Most video gamers would not or not allow / not be able to go without their video game for more than maybe a day or two. Also, when thanks to my ADHD, it's about the only thing keeping my energy intact. And I seriously mean intact. Without it, I could possibly bust out like crazy. And I don't mean like psychotic crazy. I'd have to go to an insane asylum level. More like I'm more like a kid on a near about infinite sugar rush. So, that's out. So I just have to deal with it until I can get a new system. And I already made the decision when I got that. Well, technically I made this decision prior, but I'm planning on keeping it with this. From now on, anytime I get a new system, it's going to be a special edition system. Namely, Pikachu based. Which I am planning on getting every single Pikachu based system there is. And I mean everyone, all the way back to the Game Boy. The only one I think I'm probably not getting, because I don't see a Pokemon game that I would want to play that would be correspondent with it, would probably be stuff like GameCubes and Nintendo 64s. I mean, well, just hold on. Ugh. I mean, I honestly don't even know if there is any Pokemon games that come with it in the first place. Well, apparently Pokemon Stadium does, now that I'm looking at it. And they actually kind of have two, but that I won't do. I am planning on getting... Wait, they seriously had a 3rd anniversary Game Boy. Come on, people. I know Pokemon is famous, but do you seriously need to celebrate the 3rd anniversary? Anyways, I do plan on getting a Pikachu edition of every single one, except of course the ones that don't have Pikachu editions. Main one I can see is the actual DS and Game Boy Micro. Though, let's be honest here, I have no idea what they were singing when they came up with Game Boy Micro. I mean, seriously, that... I'm not even sure how well that sold. And the original DS, not the DS Lite. I think if I was going to get any, it would probably be Pokepark, because it's blue. I mean, sure, I'd love the Mew one, but really, pink? I mean, I like pink as much as the next guy, but there are two things I'm never doing with the color pink. One, I am never going to wear a piece of clothing with pink on it. Unless it's, of course, in a small, tiny section and has a picture of Mew or something on it. But that's pretty much the only exception. And two, I am sure as heroism not going to have it on a video game console. I mean, I'm sorry, that's where I put my foot down. I mean, seriously, you hand me one, no offense, but I'm probably going to smash it under my foot. I may love video games, but pink and video games, unless it's Kirby, or maybe a Jigglypuff or something, Pink and video games don't go along. Unless, of course, the video game character is pink. But you get that. That's kind of unavoidable, and you'd have to take it up with the game creator. And also, I may hate pink, but there are some times where it works, like a pink Pokemon. But I will say this. With the new game coming out, and by the way, all this stuff about the video games, I am probably, if not most likely guaranteed, going to make another video about it soon. At least this section. Not so much about the if you can find the other console section. I may make another video about that soon, so if people don't get all the way to this point in this video, they'll still know about it. But anyways, with this new game coming out, I'm doing something that I've actually been wanting to do since I got my first Pokemon game, but really unable to because I was still in school. I mean, if as any Pokemon fan should know, you can't really do, and any video gamer, you can't really do a lot on video games unless you have infinite time. Which, me being in school most of the time, not exactly able to, well, do it. And if you want to know why the night light's out, it's because my grandfather, who is one of my subscribers, along with my mom and another family member, told me that directly, because I actually, well, yeah, actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and state this. I have nothing to worry about, not with God on my side. Anyways, I do live with him, so he told me directly, just probably about 30 minutes or so before I first started making this, that nightlight was very bright. Though I never even noticed it, so if it really was, I'm really sorry. But regardless of if it is or not, I want to make my videos to where they'll be liked by any age group and any type of person. But anyways, the thing I was going to say is, thanks to me having all this free time since I've been out of school, I'm finally able to start trying to complete a Pokedex. Of course, I already have my A team set up. And before you start saying, do you mean your 6 Pokemon? I mean, no. No, I do not mean my main 6 Pokemon. Though I do have my main 6 Pokemon picked out, that's not going to be my A team. That's more like my elite team. My A team is pretty much every single fully evolved Pokemon in the entire Pokedex. And of course, my B team would be every other Pokemon. Sure, I may have to get their stats leveled up. I mean, I got a level 100 Pokemon, and it was attacking a level 49 Pokemon, and the level 49 Pokemon nearby took it out in one hit. I mean, even I'll admit that's sad, just really sad. In fact, when that happened, I was like, oh my word! Level 100 Pokemon? How did level 100 Pokemon almost get defeated by level 49 or so? But I was actually kind of leveling it up through the whole Secret Shore Chansey QR secret base code thingy. Which, by the way, to any of those people who happen to see me, don't know if you subscribed. I think I may have subscribed to one of you. Can't really remember at this moment. And if so, I can't even remember your name. But if any of you are seeing this, know this. I really do thank you for doing that. I just wish that you would had your chance to know something else, like at least one attack move, or done something that would help deplete its health further. It's not exactly enjoyable when the main Pokemon you have a problem fighting them with are ones that don't have any physical attacks, or have a very weak one, and ghost types. I mean, I teach my Pokemon moves that are identical to their typing. Only exceptions would be, like, maybe my Carnivine / Roserade, who knows Sweet Scent, and a Pokemon signature move who is a correspondent with its typing. Like, maybe Genesect, then with the move Technoblast, and Cast Form was Weather Ball. And before you start saying Cast Form and Weather Ball do have the same type, well, if Cast Form is in its Sunny form, Weather Ball does become a fire type move, but it's not dependent on the Pokemon's type, it's dependent upon the weather that's going on. Which Cast Form's type is still dependent upon the weather, but basically their types do change due to the same reason, but they are not both gonna be just because the move and the Pokemon's types change for the same reason doesn't mean that's how it'll affect on others. Like, let's say you teach Roselia, or I think Roselia can learn Weather Ball. I really can't remember, but let's say you teach some Pokemon like that Weather Ball. It's going to keep its normal typing. Weather Ball is just going to change the type. Or possibly a better example, you do Sandstorm with Cast Form. Cast Form is not going to turn into a Rock type Pokemon, but Weather Ball will turn into a Rock type move. Though I do wonder why the Pokemon creator didn't decide to have Cast Form have a Sandstorm Twister-like form of Cast Form when Sandstorm is used. I mean, she should have a form for Sunny Day, Rain Dance, and Hail. I mean, come on! You got every single other weather set up. Why not Sandstorm? But, anyways, when a new game comes out, because I can actually level up any Pokemon from the previous regions quite fast because of that, have ways to infect Pokemon with Pokerus, which I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous one, but it's all thanks to one lucky trade on the GTS. I got a Frostlass, I think from Japan, with Pokerus. And whoever gave that to me, I do really thank you. While I think I either released or traded that Frostlass away, I would never have even powered up my Pokemon without that Pokerus. And I read about it in the guidebooks, and actually, quite useful too. Especially since I really don't do the whole IV-EV training. That really helps me because I'm not really concerned with that training. I'm just concerned with catching Pokemon, teaching them the moves I want to teach them, and then battling. Because I believe that if you train it up right, it doesn't matter typing or anything. You can still win. Plus, the whole IV and EV thing just goes way over my head. I mean, I have a better chance of explaining everything that I've learned about the Omniverse to a 1-year-old than any of you have of explaining to me what, pray tell, is the difference between an IV and an EV. I mean, come on. You know it's that bad when I say that. But anyways, my mom actually gave me a good suggestion. She was suggesting I do the whole, well, make it to where I say, "Who's this Pokemon?" thing, like they do on a TV show. I didn't think that would be a good idea because most Pokemon fans would be able to figure it out, but I saw something that might work. Maybe I can describe it or give a Pokedex entry to it, even if I have to take out the name. And if you get it right, I will breed you that Pokemon. Announce the winners on another video, and then the winners will contact me. I'll tell you who the winner is. The winner contacts me through an email, tells me the specifics of the Pokemon they want, as in level, gender, moveset, and what item they want it to hold, if they even want it to hold an item. and I'll do my best to get it for you. Most of them I should be able to breed pretty easily, but yeah. And that even goes for the new Pokemon. And I can even give it Pokerus if you want. I mean, I do have almost every Pokemon have a Pokerus. And I am actually going to be trying to get every single Pokemon from the Pokedex leveled up to 100. Pre-evolved forms included. And then that way, when I trade it to my new games, or transferred as the case may sometimes be, I'll have a complete Pokedex before I can even reach the next town. I mean, that's my plan anyways, but if there's one thing that pretty much every human should know by now, it's plans don't always go as planned. I mean, like, take the Wright brothers, for instance. They made plans to fly an airplane, but it took, guys, think about 5 or more times to get it right. Can't really remember. I think every time they were teaching that at my school, I was sick or I was sleepy or something. All I remember is I don't remember anything about that, other than they tried several times and failed. Exactly how many times they tried, I can't tell you, because I kind of both don't know and don't remember. And then again, oh, okay. If you're wanting to know what I was doing, I saw something on my hair and I was trying to tell if it was my hair or something on the bed. And I'm still trying to get used to the fact that what I'm looking at is exactly how y'all be seeing me. So, because it's not the same as looking in a mirror, I'm still trying to get used to it. Which does bring up the question, how are humans used to looking in a mirror? Why is it we can become used to that so much easier than most other things? Or when looking into a camera. Or I guess in this case, looking into a screen that shows the image that is taken from the camera. But still, I do know this much. Once the new game comes out, I will be glad to help y'all get any Pokemon you want. Of course, it's not going to be from my own Pokemon. If I'm going to get it, I'm going to breed it. Now, if you guys want to do the entire leveling up process yourself, all the way from the pre-evolved forms, man, my nose has been itching like crazy. I'm really sorry. And it's not because I have a cold or anything, it's just, actually, I don't even know what it is, but I know it's not because I'm sick or because I know it's not because I'm sick. This is actually one of the first few years that I've actually not been sick half the year. I mean, most years, by the time I get over one sickness, I've gotten another. It's like I get one sickness per season. Usually I'd end up getting the flu during the fall, cold during the winter, bronchitis during the spring, and a stomach bug or something during the summer. And from one person who actually missed their first few Halloween simply because of a cold, that is not enjoyable. Not in the least. But, yeah, I think that's about it for this video. Can't really think anything else to say. And I am sorry it went to 54 minutes, 26 seconds and counting. But, that's what you get when you get a talkative person and combine it with ADHD. Honestly, I was kind of expecting this to just take 30 minutes or less, but, can't really do anything about it now. I mean, well, I guess I just have to deal with it. I mean, time travel isn't exactly possible. And as far as I'm concerned, you don't travel back in time to go to another reality that takes place with time flowing at a different speed. But because I have no way to prove nor disprove that, I can't really tell how true or false that is. But anyways, I will say this. We have been having a very bad wolf spider infestation at my house. So if anyone of any age or gender or just pretty much any being, human or otherwise, who knows how to help, please let me know. Because while I don't mind catching the spiders and releasing them, it's getting annoying when you're coming across about 3 or 4 spiders in a single night. I mean, look, I like spiders as much as the next person. But the 2 things I'm not going to do with the spider are 1, keep it as a pet, and 2, squish it. Nor am I going to put it in my hand unless, of course, I have proper protection. I mean, I am actually allergic to the wolf spiders. Not deathly allergic, just to the point of I have to use every kind of anti-itch and anti-bite cream you can think of about 3 times a day for an entire week before it even starts to clear up usually. I mean, I can get bitten by a spider and it could take 2 months to clear up. I mean, it's not like it makes my hand swell up. It just takes me quite a long time for it to clear up, and it's quite itchy. So it really does take a lot of guts to get a wolf spider out of the house. Especially when you take into account those things go fast. Combined with the fact that I'm allergic. I mean, seriously. That would be like someone who's allergic to scorpions becoming a scorpion swallower thingy where they stick the scorpion down his throat. That takes a lot of guts. Or like someone who's deathly afraid of sharks to become a shark tamer. Or someone who is allergic to cats to become a lion tamer. So, anyway, sorry if this kind of got off subject. Kind of hard for me to stay on subject. But I do hope I can get some more subscribers soon. I mean, admittedly, my life kind of has been very, 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 very boring. And this pretty much the only type of social interaction I can get. I'm not desperate for social interaction. It's just I want to do something with my life rather than sit down, play video games, watch TV, eat, have bodily functions happen, and sleep. And mainly I was talking about going to the bathroom, but the point still remains. When all you're doing is pretty much trying to survive, you're not really thriving. I mean, come on. Sure, anyone can eat, sleep, watch TV, and play video games. But when that's what you do 24/7, it gets to the point of annoyance. And actually, when I was younger, I thought, ooh, I cannot wait until school's over with, then I can do that all day. I did that all day for about 2 months and then it was boring. I mean, seriously. And I've been out of school for about 2 years or more. I mean, I thought it would be a dream come true. Well, now I'm living my own worst nightmare. I mean, I like video games as much as the next person. But when most people in your hometown don't even play on the same console you do, and don't even have any idea of what the video game is you're talking about, and they consider it to be lame or something, combined with the fact that most people, when they're on electronic devices and they're either texting or on some sort of social media website, it's not enjoyable. I mean, come on, people. I know we have different interests, but it's not enjoyable when you seem to be an outcast in your own city because you pretty much like the one thing that everyone else either hates, thinks is lame, or has no idea what you're even talking about. I mean, in what world is that interesting? And for someone with ADHD who's been picked on mostly by teachers his entire life because they didn't understand what it was, that the last thing you want is to not have friends. And it doesn't help when I only have one friend I can contact. I mean, I don't mind talking to friends. It's just when I only have one friend to talk to, it's less of an enjoyable conversation and more of a required chore. And who likes to have required? Well, I mean, to the point of they aren't fun.
I mean, I can make most anything fun, but when I'm talking to the same person over and over and over again, and nothing exciting happens in my life, and I've told the person pretty much my entire life story, and then the other person does all the talking, that's not fun. That's just sitting and going, uh-huh, uh-huh, okay, can we get on? Uh-huh, okay, yeah, I got that. Now let's talk some more. I mean, seriously, that's not enjoyable when the other person has the entire conversation and you can't even think of a single word to say. Even more annoying when it comes from a talkative person. I mean, seriously. Sure, I could talk about my entire life, but because that's not exactly that long, and because I'm a very talkative person, I could finish talking about my entire life in just 2 days. But sure, not very many people really want to hear that. Not even me, and I've lived my life. But it's even more annoying when you don't have anything to talk about except the things that you've already mentioned 70,000 or more times to every person you've ever met. I mean, seriously, come on, people. So when I'm asking for more subscribers, it's not because I'm desperate to get fame. It's because I'm desperate to have something happen to my life that is interesting. Plus, when in my town there's not really much to do except be on social media, this is kind of, well, kind of all I can do. I mean, unless of course you consider going to a store, restaurant, or library. This is about about the highest level of entertainment you can get from where I'm from. And I'm not just saying that because I have nowhere to go. I'm saying that because I'm being serious. If you were to ask any of my classmates, or even anyone in my entire school district, they'd all say the same thing. It's more interesting to stay at home than it is to go anywhere in my town. So you know there's no entertainment when that's happening. I mean, seriously, I like staying home as much as the next person. But when that is more entertaining than going outside, you know there's an obvious problem. Well, okay, don't know what happened there. Anyways, I guess all I can say is bye, and I hope we get some more subscribers soon. And by the way, I don't know if any of you noticed, but if you if you see someone who has never heard of my channel, please let them know. And help me advertise my channel on pretty much all social media websites, even YouTube. I mean, I like making videos. I do plan on turning this into a job. Just, excuse me. Well, I guess that's what I get from stress eating. But anyways, this is not enjoyable when you have nothing to talk about. So, yeah.
try to advertise my channel to other people, even mention it to people who may not even like YouTube, or even who might not even be interested in this. Just go ahead and tell them anyways, and tell them to tell other people. I don't care if they ever see any of my videos or not. At least get the word out. And once we get up to at least 100 subscribers, there is something I'm going to try to do. I already have the idea, but I won't mention it until then. That way to avoid confusion, and so that way I'll remember the whole thing. But anyways, all I can say is bye, and let's continue this fight